Okay, so I'm going to go over how to take a 2D Autocad drawing into SketchUp to create a 3D model. And I'm going to do that in about 5 steps. The first step we'll call preparation for SketchUp. What you want to do in this step is just make sure that all of your line work is really well joined, so that way when you go to try to create surfaces or apply certain textures, the regions can be filled in and there's no gaps that you have to search for. It just saves a lot of time. And for example, this is going to be a paver patio here, so I went ahead and joined all my lines so that they're going to be one surface when I go into SketchUp. Another thing that you're going to want to do is, a lot of times people in AutoCAD will have multiple drawings in model space. When you go into SketchUp, you're going to want to just load what you want to blow up into 3D. So you're going to want to just go ahead and get rid of all the other line work that you don't want. And so now the drawing is ready for SketchUp. By the way, this is just a really simple house, and I wouldn't even call it a design because I just threw some plants in there. This is just for the purpose of showing how to do this process. So now all the surfaces are, or all the line work is joined really well, and all the extra lines are gone, and so now we are ready to import it into SketchUp. So what you're going to want to do is save this somewhere. You can just save it to desktop or something. Then you're going to want to open up SketchUp and go to File, and then just come down to Import, and SketchUp defaults to look for SketchUp files, and you're going to want to import a DWG in this case, since you're coming from AutoCAD. So just click on DWG and then go to wherever you have them saved. And here we got CAD to SketchUp import is what I've named mine. And I'll just go ahead and close that out because I've already, just click import down there at the bottom. I've already imported mine, so what it'll come in as is the line work that you see here. And what you're going to have to do in SketchUp is you're going to have to take your line tool and just start filling these in. And you'll see why having those sealed really well, or I'm sorry, joined in AutoCAD makes this process a lot easier. As you can see there, I just drew one line and that filled. And if that were open, you would have to search for the opening, and it just takes a lot of time. So we'll just go over here to this mulch region, and you'll see why I have made that one solid joined plane there, so that when you come to SketchUp, you just draw one line, and that whole area is ready now to be filled with whatever you're going to use, which I'll go over how to do this stuff later in a different video. Right now I'm just going over the process of importing and blowing it up and then bring it into a rendering software. So we'll just go over here. A lot of times in SketchUp I'll create scenes, so that way when you have to orbit around, you don't actually have to orbit. It's just a lot faster. So right here, I'm going to show you how I've got the wall. We've created the surface there, and then now you just pull your walls up to whatever height the house is, or a lot of times it doesn't even matter if they're perfect. You're just representing the house the best you can. It's more important, the design is more important. So. And then I've got just a basic window in there, and what I did there is I just drew lines on my wall at the bottom, and then I measured up on the wall how high the windows were on the actual house, and then I actually just input that into SketchUp. If you just stay on the blue line, it will be going up and down on the vertical axis. And then all you have to do is just push and pull these over to wherever the window opening size is. You can take the measure tool and measure that opening just to make sure, or when you draw it or push and pull it, you can do it then. And So then you're going to want to just go into the 3D warehouse, which I'll go into that in a second. I'll go into, that'll be step 4, which will be step surfaces and components. Step 3, this is the 3D phase, blowing it up into 3D. And I'll just show you over here. If you hold down shift while you're in orbit, it'll actually let you pan. So over here will be my paver patio, and what you want to do is just raise that up just a little bit so that it's up off the ground. I'll show you. You just pull that up an inch or 2 inches, and then we're gonna, if you hover over an item with the push-pull tool, it will bring it to that level. So just heads up on that. And then we'll just go ahead and paint that, and there you've got a very simple paver patio, really quick. And as you can see, this is really quick work. Just if you take the time in AutoCAD and get it ready for SketchUp, then it's a lot easier. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the house. You can go as far as you want with this. You can, here what I have is I have all my plants in place, and I'm going to go over how to do that really quickly. What you do is you just click File and go down to Import, and you just, wherever you have your SketchUp components saved is where you'll search for them. And just for example, we'll go ahead and load a pergola. And I've got a lot of stuff. Oh, there it is. I've got a lot of stuff in this model going on. So, and that's all you do. Or if you don't have all those saved, you can go here to 3D Warehouse and click Get Models, and then search for anything you want. A search bar will pull up, and if you even if you don't go this way, you can go to Google Chrome and type in 3D Warehouse and search that way. And that's where I got all of those models that were in my component library. So when you download a model from the 3D Warehouse, you're going to want to just save it somewhere. That way you don't have to download it every single time. And so what we have here is a house that has no textures on it yet. It has the surfaces, but I haven't painted it yet. I haven't put any shingles on it or siding or anything like that. I just have all of my components in place. I have topography in place. I have my house blown up. I have the steps in place and the walk here, and then I'll just very quickly show you the simple backyard, the little paver patio, and with the pergola and the columns. And just a very basic setup just to show you. And I'm going to go into the topography in another video because that is a different step, or I'm sorry, a different thing. So we'll just talk about that in another video where I have more time. So this drawing here is the same thing you just saw there, but I've added siding and I've gone ahead and added shingles. And all you have to do that is click the paint tool like I showed you on the paver patio over there. And just go through your materials library here and pick whatever you want. Brick and cladding is where I found the siding. If you don't find something here, say your model has this, but you see this texture or this color down here or this texture down here in a different model, and you want to paint it on your model, you can always just hold the, now I'm on a PC, so you can just hold down the Alt key and then click, and it will save that color, and then you can just paint your model. So if you don't have a certain texture, go on the 3D Warehouse, and they have all kinds of swatches and textures, and you can create your own swatches, and you can use photorealistic textures, and you can do pretty much put whatever you want on the SketchUp drawing. So once you have the components in and you have the model blown up, which I'll go into depth on each one of those in separate videos because I feel like they will I can take a lot more time to show you really cool steps and tricks that I've learned to make that faster. And so I'll show each one of those. I'll break down the I don't have to break down the import, but I'll break down the 3D phase and the surface components stuff to show you more about that. And then I'll talk about the topography, and I'll even go into rendering further. But right now I'll just we'll just go ahead and click on render. I'm using a rendering software called Indigo, and I've got it just docked right up here at the top. And Indigo is a progressive renderer. It's really fast. It's a really nice software that my stepdad introduced to me, and it takes about 30 seconds to a minute to get going, but once it gets going, it's one of the fastest renderers I've seen. And it actually allows you to edit all of your materials and surfaces and things like that while it's rendering, so it's pretty amazing. When I do go into the rendering video, I'll talk about the settings and how to set that up to whatever you can change the sun angle, and you can just set the lens differently, or there's many different settings that you can, tone mapping, and many different settings that you can do just to optimize it to however you want it, and even create night renderings and stuff like that. So I think it might be auto saving in the background as well, so it's taking a second here. Bear with me. I've got a lot in this model. I probably should go ahead and delete. One thing I'll say is when you're working on a model like this and you place one of those plants in, just go ahead and hide it right away, and that'll make things a lot faster. But here you go. It's rendering in Indigo, and as you can see, the grass here is a little bit shiny. So we'll just go ahead and click Pick Material, and we can actually change the material type, and just try different ones out. It's a lot of playing around if you're using Indigo. A lot of your other rendering softwares, you can't actually do this. So this is a good one that I've come across thanks to my stepdad, like I said, and this just makes for a really nice rendering. For the glass, you'll have to go ahead and click on the glass, and just go ahead and hit Arc Glass and then Single Face down at the bottom, and it'll make it not black, and it'll actually add reflections and stuff into it. And I'm still seeing a little bit of sheen on the grass down there. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that. Let's try one of these other, I think, specular diffuse. Yeah. So diffuse works pretty good in Indigo. And as you can see, the rendering process gets rid of all my black lines that were in SketchUp that I didn't even worry about erasing or anything, because when you take it into the rendering software, all of that will just go away. So there you see a pretty nice looking drawing that was created in no time at all. Once you start using SketchUp and importing DWGs into SketchUp all the time, and you start having your component library grow, and you have everything in one place, it just makes it a really fast process. So that pretty much concludes this video, and I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will post the other videos that go more into depth on those 5 steps, or at least some of those steps, at a later date. Thank you.